Okay, we're gonna be going over people watching. To the people watching, we're gonna be going over some of the New Balance changes that are coming out. I want to try and get the ones Sushi has for like the more updates, like the basically the stuff that was like maybe happening. But I don't know if Sushi's gonna drop that. I know he's in VC. He's in VC right now streaming it, but I'm trying to get my hands on it. But yeah, we'll be going over it soon. Just waiting for everyone to get more set up. Yeah, this will be the one that Fry went over. This is mostly going to be our opinions on the topic. I'm still trying to get that. Let me actually message the guy real quick. Alright, I messaged Sushi about it. Hoping to get the info, because that'd be awesome. What the fuck? First of all, I heard a loud banging sound out here. What's going on? PVZ Heroes is it's a game about heroes and they're fighting with plants. It's so cool. Okay. It seems like I think Sushi's too busy with the stream to check my DMs. Subway Surfers. We can get you some Subway Surfers later. As of now, we are gaming. Dude, that will def shape up the budget meta. Yeah, I think so too. All right, we'll start in a little bit because I'm assuming Sushi's too busy right now to give me the list, and if he's done with the stream. Alright, let's begin. Let's go. Okay. Oh, I fucking... There we go. Okay. There we go. What's good, everyone? Okay, I'm just checking to make sure the stream is working all good. Oh yeah, no, for like definitely for the budget meta, it's gonna be strange. Budget Guardian did get like hit hard.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane to see, but.
A lot of these are also gonna be very interesting towards other classes, either making them better or worse.
Oh yeah, no, like, well, I think Guardian is kind of dead. Budget Guardian already mid. I think it's pretty decent. Definitely these changes do hurt a bit. um, to the budget meta. I think Kabloom's getting better. I don't know. Losing Puff though is kind of big for budget at least. Okay. We can get into it, shall we? Let me just switch over to let's pull it up. Window. There we go. So we have some of the balance changes. Oh yeah, by the way, I am your host Kingfish Commander. We are doing the Hero Spotlight. This is your place for all things PVZ Heroes. This game is dead, but apparently not. Look at these changes. I'm joined by my co-host Wreko.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Wreko. I'm the co-host of the PVZ Hero Spotlight, and today we are going to discuss the balance changes that are apparently
We hope so. I hate this game, but at the same time, goddamn, would it be fun to see some changes? Let's begin. So first things first. Nabs, I'm gonna have to mods ban that guy. Mods ban that guy real quick. Anyway, first things first. Galactic Cactus going from one cost 2/2 to one cost 2/1. Honestly, it's really not that bad. So
I think it's better.
So it does gain something in the fact it trades on turn 1 it trades not Headhunter, Tombs Headstone Carver and Conman. That's like Flag too. But it does lose out on some of its trades. It specifically loses out on the TPZ trade, Teleportation Zombie trade, and the Doctor Space Time trade. Pretty much anything that's anything that loses is a 1/5, it does lose out on, and the fact that it dies to itself even easier. It is, but it's more of a rework than a nerf or buff, if anything. It loses a lot of these really decisive interactions, and it does worse into Crazy by default because now it procs from Barrel Splash. I think this is more of a nerf, if anything, but it does stand alone as a better control card than an aggro card. Being a 2/2, it was better used in aggro. Renders Primal Potamine even more. Well, the thing with Primal Potamine, at least it doesn't hurt your own minions. So I think it really, like, 1 cost 2/1 Gaka makes it better for control, but it worsens its overall aggro, which was already leaning towards that. Gaka was already leaning towards a more control-oriented playstyle because of the fact it hurts your own minions, and as such, it can make trades really bad, especially in the control matchup. What are your thoughts, Becca? Besides, like, it's just being better for 1/3s.
Yeah, there's not really much to say for me. I think of it as more of a fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it would change it like too badly. I think overall it's still gonna be a good card.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I just realized I don't have my good mic plugged in. Just checking my audio. I have my crappy standard gaming mic. Where's the cord? Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Well, I don't know where the cord went for my mic. I'll find it at some point. Anyway. Next up, Photo. And was part of the Guardian package, wasn't it? It was kinda, like, I don't know. It was, it definitely was getting removed from Guardian package because while a good card, it like killed Forget-Me-Nots, it killed your own, it like hit you on fate. It just did a lot of things Guardian didn't really like at the time, or especially now. It's just weird. Gaka's in a weird position. Moving on to Photo. Oh wait. Oh yeah. It was. Wait, why does it say I don't know. I pulled these files. Why I don't know why it says. Hold on, let me fix that real quick.
Here, yeah. Just switch the arrow around.
Oh yeah. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, SA. Okay. There we go. Fixed up. Okay, so we never commit any mistake. So 2 cost. It's genuinely unplayable now. Like, I don't even think Photo needed a nerf. The card was pretty much fine the way it was. I mean, 1 cost, get a random card. Sometimes that card's good, sometimes it's bad. Gives +2 health. It was a very consistent pool too. I don't know. I think it was just a really nice, strong card, and I think we need to let cards be strong. Especially in game PVZ Heroes where 90% of the cards are just useless. But yeah. Especially 2 costs for 2 health. It's just like, yeah, I'd rather use Guardian Gloves, exactly. If you got them from Solid One, then he didn't put the whole list of changes. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. This is just the one, hold on. I can try something else.
We're basically, if we have to, we're going to try to split it into at least 2 parts. That way we can get more stream, probably more stream.
Yeah, we're definitely going to, hold on. Looks like I might try and fix this real quick, because that is true. I'm pretty sure these might be the outdated ones. But, yeah, Reka, you should crank up your mic. Let me check the... I'm trying to right now get the full list of changes from Sushi. But I don't know if he's going to let that happen. Hold on. Let's see if I can do it.
Crank my mic up.
Let's do funny. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought it would do.
Can I actually play it? Hold on.
Yeah, it's just kind of a problem getting the entire thing. I wish I had the good looking fry dog. We were supposed to start we were supposed to start yeah, we were supposed to start like a few hours ago, and then Reko randomly told me that they had to go, so we're just doing this now. But this covers like pretty much every the essentials, so we'll go. The try ones. I am not including those. The try changes are outdated, and the one RCCH, yeah, the one RCCH spread was just really misleading. So we're not gonna do it. Yeah. So photosynthesizer overall just got really destroyed. The card's dead. Triceratops nerf is huge. I think. So the thing about Trica is it has this effect that is it keeps a lot of things in check. Like, as much as people hate on Guardian package as a whole,
Is my mic better?
Yeah, it sounds a little much better.
Okay.
The thing about Guardian package as a whole is people do hate it, and it is in a sense like a lot more brain. It is like brain dead in quote unquote. But the thing is, it kept a lot of things in check. Just like nerfing Guardian package, especially when we'll get to later with zombies, is that they really didn't. They didn't really touch zombies all too much, which is the biggest problem here, because these 3 changes on their own just kind of kill Guardian. And without Guardian, Guardian did this thing where it protected from a lot of different things. It protected from certain types of crazy. It protected from certain types of brainy. It really did. It really did a bunch for the class, or like for the game as a whole, and kept zombies sort of in check in their greed. But now it's kind of a different story. With now zombies are almost like S tier. I believe zombies are so much better now. It's not even really fair, to say the least. What do you say about Reka?
I would say that when it came to Guardian, even though personally Guardian had its flaws, you know, with the bad late game problem and everything like that, Trica and not forgiving ones, but mostly Trika and Blockbuster are kind of the main reason why a lot of the classes kind of needed to be more careful with their plays, because also the same thing with Photo. It made it to where it at least prevented them from being able
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Can the music be turned down? Yeah, of course. Let me get on that real quick. We have it at like 10%, but it is being a little loud. Yeah, I think like Trika did like you said, it kept a lot of things in check, and seeing it nerf is kind of sad. Primal Walnut it goes okay, cool. It's 0-9 going to 0-8. That's cool, I guess. It dies to Mechasaur now, and it dies to OTK Trickster. I mean, OTK Trickster sucks now, so. But yeah, it's not that OTK Trickster got worse. It's just the fact Megasaur got better. Marine Bean, Amphibious making a comeback is really cool. I think Elusives was a really like fun deck compared to Citron Midrange, which is really fucking boring. I think Citron Midrange is like with poppies and everything is just like a boring archetype. Um, and yeah, it's just like I think Citron was a good hero before, and I think Citron Amphibious Aggro is actually going to be really strong, especially with the upcoming buffs to other things, which in Smarties specifically, which we'll get to soon. But I think Marine Beam buff makes it a really strong card. It is just a stat stick, but it is a very early on. 3 cost is really nice for the stat stick itself. So hey, at least we got something more for that. Spikeweed Sector is. Oh yeah, no, it's just horrible. Like it. Oh yeah, no, like at 3 cost, this thing is absolutely unplayable for what it does. 2 cost, it was already somewhat suboptimal, but it could still be run, and it's like fine. Now at 3, it just doesn't do anything. And yeah, especially budget players are going to suffer immensely. This card was very helpful on budget, especially for budget Guardian getting off Plantern. Like they don't really have anything to turn to now for Plantern, so Plantern falls off by itself. Mhm. It it does do something to control Wall Knight on max because now they don't have a cheap environmental replacement. Like Wall Knight's best, like I think like cheapest environment is Solar Winds, and Solar Winds is notoriously not that good at 3 cost. So I think we might see it's a bit of a nerf to budget not to budget wall knight and also maxed wall knight, which is a bit of a problem. Um, but that just comes down to plant environments being too expensive, especially with zombie environments just automatically being better. Moving on. Macadamia. Moving on, moving on. Blooming Heart going from 2-2 to 2-1. I think this is another So this is in the long span of things, is the problem with the PVZ heroes balancing in general, which is they see something that's popular on like ladder specifically, and then they decide to nerf it. This is especially with a lot of the changes here for a lot of nerfs. Aggro Solar Flare was just apparently too strong. The deck is really nice for budget players who are less experienced. It's a very easy deck to play. Um, Not the most powerful for Solar Flare for her budget, but it is very much an easy list that you can just kind of play and get to know and do really well with. But now it's I don't know. This feels more like a nerf to budget specifically. But Blooming Heart also just being a really strong one drop before, I don't think it needed this nerf at all. Blooming Heart was sort of it just gave Kabloom. It was like one of the other good Kabloom cards that they desperately need. And now as a 2-1, it dies to so much. It dies to Gaka Splash, it dies to Crazy Super Hard, dies to Nibble. Dying to Nibble is such a stupid thing. Basically, it just made Beastly Crazy just so much better into Kabloom specifically. So being a 1-2-2 is just ugh. You guys can't. Okay, so you guys are saying Reko's too loud, and now you're saying you can't hear Reko at all. Can you hear yourself on the Twitch stream?
I don't have my Twitch stream super turned up.
Okay, hold on. We'll turn up the audio.
Hold on. Okay, I can hear myself, so they're coping. All right.
Okay. Okay. Then, all right, let's continue. Yeah, the people are coping. Hot lava at 0 is interesting.
I would argue interesting.
You,
Yeah.
you want to take this?
I actually think that with hot lava being 0, I think it's gonna be more useful, not for max. I don't know what the fuck it will do for max, but for budget, it's gonna be a really interesting card because it's gonna be able to do it's gonna be a little slower, but it's gonna be what Spikeweed is, except a little watered down, if that makes sense. And I would say I think it's going to be more usable when it comes to the budget standard. And I think that's going to be really, really handy, especially especially since a lot of the good early game Kabloom minions, along with also Spikeweed Sector now being a 3 cost. I think all of the good, cheaper stuff now being more expensive and less used, I think that's going to give Hot Lava more of a chance to shine,
Hmm.
which I think is going to be really interesting. I'm excited. I think it's an interesting buff. I'm really excited for it, or if it ever does happen. But yeah, what do you think?
I think it's going to be really interesting. Most plant environments should just be cheaper in general, I think, because the fact that zombies can just right away cover it up on their tricks phase. Plant environments in general need to be this cheap, especially for their costs. Like I think Spikeweed, if anything, could have gotten like a nerf, or it could have gotten a buff, in like other like cards, other plant environments, which would really benefit from the cost reductions. The problem does arise uh, with it just being zombies in general. But anyway, I think zero cost hot lava is going to be really cool. I don't think it's going to be revolutionary or anything. I don't think many other heroes are going to be running it. Um, I think yes, Spadao is probably going to be the best abuser of it. Um, but hell, even CC, I think CC would like it. Um, because zero cost environment for veg mutation, it's going to be really good. But then again, they also already have lava, not lava.
CC has coffee grounds too, not to mention.
Yeah, but I think a zero cost environment that just allows you to do just a lot of big plays.
Yeah, I think Spadao would like it a lot, mostly
Spadow's gonna
because
love it.
literally all of his cards are getting nerfed. So
Yeah, I think he's gonna like it. Um, Puff Shroom dead. It's just dead. In the like, there's no reason to
yeah,
ever run this card.
it's terrible.
It's like it's like better button Shroom, but like I know it's button Shroom. Um, interesting rework for invasive species though. Uh, hashtag save puffer shroom. Oh, save puff shroom. True. This is puffer shroom. Yeah, puff shroom just got fucked. I mean, we didn't have to really say much. Invasive species rework is interesting to say the least. I think
Yeah. What?
I was gonna say I think it's more usable. What about you?
I think it is, especially if hot lava would be a zero cost. It's basically going to make it to where it's going to take a while to die to. You can basically play this on turn 2, and it's going to be a 2/4/4.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
it's
good.
going to be extremely strong. It's going to be probably extremely dangerous. I would even argue on max that invasive species is going to be a really dangerous 2 cost now that Trica's out of here, and you're gonna have better 2 costs to fill in that spot.
Mm. I I
Not to
don't I don't think
include that.
it's gonna really
Sorry.
replace Trika all too much. I think it's gonna be strong, but even on max, it's like you bungee it once and it dies. It's kind of a lot of investment. It's because it is a 2 card investment, but unlike Pepper MD, it is not a snowball. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be as useful on max, but especially with a lot of environments just not being that good.
I would say yes and no.
I think on budget it's gonna be great. I think on budget it's gonna be lovely and a lot of heroes
If
want.
we're talking about max, my main perspective is probably like Nightcap kind of has bad true drops, so Nightcap would like it. Spadal is just not gonna be that good since all his cards are nerfed, so he kind of wants it.
Hmm. I think
And
CC would
then
love it.
CC would also like it. I just think it's gonna be usable for and better for every hero, no matter if it's max budget or whatnot.
Hmm. All right. Let's see here. Seedling. I think it's funny. It's an indirect buff to
This is
Sizzle's.
backwards, by the way.
Oh, okay, makes sense. This is just going off the downloaded thing. I tried
You're welcome.
to. Oh,
You're welcome.
thank you. Well, someone said in chat. So.
Yeah. Chat, is this real?
Chat is this ban that guy. Anyway, seedling. It's indirect. It's an indirect It's an indirect buff to Pomegranate. With Pomegranate, it's gonna be much better to get off the ceilings. I remember seeing somewhere about a potential Pomegranate buff. It was where it would create a seedling in its lane too, as well as well as the two others next door.
Well, why? Seedling's OP. It doesn't need a buff.
That's just so true. But I think it actually is. I remember seeing some people go over it. But I don't know if that's part of the RCCH leaks, but I think it is, or the tryhard leaks that were just kind of outdated. In 2020, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it could come true. I don't know. But as of now, the seedling being a 0-2 is pretty interesting to say the least. I don't know. It's not gonna do fucking anything. It's still seedling.
It doesn't die to Nibble, and it doesn't die to Conga.
Cool. It still dies to Bungie. And then even if it lives, yeah, it still does Bungie. Even if it lives, it's still gonna turn into a button shroom. Next up, Zapricot. Fucking, it did not need a nerf. Like, really, it did not need that at all.
Yeah. It's just bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Like, it's such a Jerry nerf.
It really is. Well, did you just unironically say Jerry?
No,
You just unironically said Jerry and like
I would never.
so true. Yeah, it's just a part of the aggro solar flare nerf collection, which is just kind of cringe. Lava Guava as 5 cost to 4 cost. It's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's definitely should have been a 4 cost card, and the fact it also cover ups environments at the same time is cool. But it's still not gonna be the best. I can see it somewhere in like a control deck as like a 2 of, and I think that would work. Make half bin. Oh yeah, fruits by against no. Yeah, I would think so, but at the same time, I don't think any of the fruits deserve a nerf because of one card.
Yeah, because Banana's OP. Even the guy whose name starts with an R said so.
True. Anyway, Sizzle from 5 cost 3 cost. I think it might have been confirmed that it's not going to be doing 5 damage. If it is doing 5 damage, this is one of the stronger cards for Kabloom, and honestly could save Kabloom. It like genuinely like a 3 cost deal 5 damage to a zombie is so good. 3 cost it's killing Cowboy. That's one of the giant things. Kills TPZ the turn after, which is also big. It kills just so many big 5 like health threats. And like as such, it just I don't know. I think three if it was 5 cost, it's big, but if it is to the 4 damage it's said to be believed. 4 damage is just 3 cost 4 damage is nothing. It's really not that good.
Yes and no.
I think 3 cost 4 damage would be almost. I would say.
I think it would have its uses. I think it would be usable now, but I don't think it would be as good.
Yeah. 5 cost makes it like
I
a
think
almost
it's-
A tier, S tier card. 4 attack makes it like C tier.
I still think it would be C.
Moving on. Bep nerf. Oof. Oof.
Hurts.
Oof. This hurts a lot for Mega Grow. I think it's still gonna be fine though. I think it's gonna be still a used card, but dying to like this is just this is just buff crazy the update, as well as Beastly just having Extinction Event take it out too. It just I don't know. I think like you're still gonna be running Bet because Mega Grow doesn't have any other better options, and most other heroes don't, but. definitely a very strange nerf. It was a very strong card though, so who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting, mostly because a lot of the plant early game is gonna be nerfed, so it's gonna be really hard for plant heroes to kind of get an early setup
Hmm.
as easy as they could.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. Um, hold on a second. Yeah, I think I don't know. Definitely, definitely interesting to say the least. Next up, this is a big one. I've seen a lot of people talking about this one. Podfather 2-3. What do you think, Barreco?
Mid.
Yeah, I think that I think that encapsulates it perfectly. I think I think it's gonna be cool. Specifically, it's better into the crazy matchup, but at the same time, I don't know.
It dies to the most overpowered card in the game, Warlord.
It dies to Warlord. Um, Still, I think that I don't know. I don't know how to think about it. I don't think it's gonna be that impactful. I'm gonna be real.
It's not.
It still has the underlying problem Podfather has, which is that it just you're forced to run kind of bad cards. Like it's still gonna be bad at maxed. I think on budget, yeah, it's definitely gonna be stronger on budget where we already limited to using the bad cards. But on max, it's just like what are we doing with it, really?
Grass Knuckles might use it more now, since Peas might be more used.
Hmm. I don't know. It doesn't even have the best ones. Maybe Green Shadow likes it.
Sure will.
All right. Whipvine 6.5. Yeah, Whipvine's better on budget. It's already a really just solid budget card. Now it's even better.
That puts a smile on my face.
Oh, I know you love your 2K deck. Oh, salt.
Potted. Who cares?
Oh wait, wow, I've just teleported somewhere to another dimension. Potted, potted power. Yeah, don't worry about.
Where are you going?
What? Shut the fuck. I'm going to maybe kill you potentially. Potted still.
Oh, God.
Potted. It's the right direction. It's right direction, but still understat. It's fucking. It doesn't solve any of the problems, which they rely so heavily on bonus attacks to do good.
I think they need to rework it to being a 4-1-1 and then get 2-2 every time it gets buff or every time a buff happens.
It would that I think that would help it a lot, but it still doesn't help really the problem of it being. It's plant side Valk, but you don't have the cheap bonus attacks. You don't have the teleports. That make
It's
Valk pretty good.
it's one of those cards to where it's hard to make it work because you can't nerf it to an extent because then it's gonna suck, but you can't buff it because then it's gonna be well, it's either gonna not do anything or it's gonna be too strong.
Hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Um, I don't know. It could even be 6 cost 1/1 give double like or 6 cost like 2/2 give double strike or something. I think
That would make it unusable King Fish.
double strike, dude. If it had double
No,
strike,
6 cost. No one's using that.
I would use that.
Of course
Cause,
you would.
cause on turn
You
6
support bad cards.
on turn 6 it'd be like something like a 7/7 or like a 6/6 or something. 6 cost 6/6 double strike is strong.
I love my 6 cost, do nothing.
Double strike is not doing nothing.
I love my 6 cost.
If I play a 6/6 with doubles, it's like Gatling P. Doesn't
I
have
love
the.
my 6 cost that still dies to fruitcake.
That's well. The thing about Pod is they can get out of fruitcake range really fast.
L. It's Gatling's still better.
Yeah. Like Gatling does the bonus attack, but you know, at least this also does a bonus attack. But the problem is it trades off the on play bonus attack for a higher potential stat pool.
No, because it dies to Warlord Cyborg, so it's bad.
So true. Next up, Super Fat Beats.
No one cares.
They nerfed
No.
Cosmic P. They nerfed Cosmic P. How do you think about that? They I understand what they're trying to do. They're just like, oh, if we make it 2-2, it's better. It's just like, but like at the same time, you just nerfed it. You nerfed Cosmic P somehow. Like this was already the worst card in the game. Like potentially, I wouldn't say it's the worst card. I think there are cards that are worse than Cosmic P, but because like at least
So,
cool thing about Cosmic P is you can at least play it, unlike Cornucopia.
yeah. I didn't know if you were waiting on me or not.
Yeah, if I stop talking, then I'm waiting on you to say something.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up.
It's
Card
a,
is shit.
it's a worse repeater. At least repeater's 3 cost. And yeah.
Um. So yeah, card is shit. Moving on. Twice. Because
Bamboozle.
bamboozle.
The Bamboozle rework is so influential.
You know
6
why? It's
attack.
only because that one game that I conjured it like 4 times in
Mhm.
a row, and I've been getting so mad because I didn't need it.
Listen,
And now I need it.
you
because
know
it's
how.
6 now.
So the big thing now is that 6 attack is an even number, and statistically speaking, there are more even number attacking plants in the game than there are odd. And being in the majority where it is a even attacking plant means that you're going to be going into it's a multiple of 2. You're going to be going into these matchups,
Like
and
when
it's going to
Kingfish is yapping.
it's going to be doing more damage over. It's going to be killing more often at 6 attack than it ever was at 5 because of the fact. Like if it was 7, 7 would also be really good. But the problem is that now like, the cool thing now is that it's an even number, which means that we're winning more often because it goes into even number health bars better. Anyway, laser cattail.
I think it's more usable now that Marine Beam got buffed.
Yeah, I think you can't ban me, Heish. You can't ban me. I'm the host of the stream, so you can't be banning. I think Laser Cattail. Yeah, I think it went from a pretty meh card to a pretty decent one. I think I could see myself running it in more aggro decks. The fact that when it gets the stat buff, it doesn't die to Bungee is huge. Just like this game is really like a lot of Planters balance around can they die to Bungee or not. And if a card can die to Bungee, it's shit usually, unless it's like a 1-drop or 2-drop in some instances.
It still dies to Bungie, but it is at least making it to where it is more of a consistent threat, especially now that's especially
If it gets
since
the
the new
buff, it
PVZH.
doesn't die to Bungee, which is the big part. Because before it, like you could buff it to a 3-2 and then just Bungee, and then you'd lose the game. But now it's in its base form. It doesn't die to Nibble, doesn't die to a lot of things, and I think overall just so much better because of that. Mayflower, it's like it's cool. It makes a with it's cool. Lightning Reed is
Really
cool.
cool.
Lightning
Lightning
Reed.
Reed is also
Honestly,
cool.
now with the 2-2, it may. I'm not even gonna yap about that one. Carrot Tillery 5-3, kinda interesting. I legitimately see a case for it being in some budget aggro now. The main problem with it before being that it just didn't really. It died to Bungie, which was the giant problem, and it died so easily to a lot of just standard removal stuff, especially like Extinction Event and all that. Um, it maybe budget can use it more for more budget players, but the problem is it just doesn't
I
do
was
anything.
thinking the same thing. I'm thinking that it's kind of more of a good team up aggression type card,
Hmm
but I think it's still really niche. I think it's only gonna be good on like Citron Green Shadow. I still think it's only gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be used as much. It's not bad, or it's not as bad now, which is good, I guess. But it's not gonna see as much play, even in the budget format. If I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
Hmm. Yeah, it's never gonna be used on maxed, but yeah. Bean counter nerf. I
What the
think.
fuck?
What the fuck? I think. I think it's gonna get. I think the plan thing was getting team up, and even then, team up just doesn't do anything for the card.
Bean counters now probably one of the worst cards in the game, if not the worst card now.
I mean, before it was pretty shit, but
No, it was really bad, and now it's even worse.
yeah, they made it worse, and even team up doesn't really solve the problem because it's not giving the weenie beanies team up either. If it gave the weenie beanies team, up, maybe it'd be better, but it's averaging around to 4-3-3 now. It's a
My
4-3.
Wiener Beaner doesn't get a team up now, so it's L.
You can't be saying slurs on stream, Reko.
I didn't say a slur.
You just said a slur. I need you to not say slurs on stream.
I didn't say a slur.
You did. I just heard you.
When?
You just did.
When?
Like I told you. I just told you. You don't need to say when. I'm telling you right now. You just said that.
Chat, did I say that?
Whatever. It's averaging out to basically a 6 cost 3/3. Which is originally it was a 6 cost 4/4, but now it's 6 cost 3/3. Because you do have to play the 2 other weenie beanies to get the value. And if we want to count in the weenie beanie stats, it's a 6/5 technically, but Far Cry from a
Far Cry
6.
reference.
Far Cry, yeah, so true. Far Cry from a 6/6. If we count the weenie beanie stats, but I don't even want to count the weenie beanie stats. The weenie beanies you get are so awful. If it was a 3 cost card, this would be different. But anyway, Haunted Pumpkin. Haunted Pumpkin didn't deserve it.
Unnecessary. Like, this is one of the more unnecessary nerfs. I'm a Haunted Pumpkin stan. I personally like Haunted Pumpkin. I personally think it's fine. But making it a 4-1, you're basically just trying to make it as unusable as possible.
It just dies so hard to crazy.
It dies to crazy. It dies
To nibble.
beastly. It
Yeah.
dies to garbage.
It dies to TPZ. You can't even run TPZ with it anymore. Or space time. Or Conman, dude. You
and
can't.
Gakka, it dies to Gakka Splash.
It dies to Xmas. Also, you can't. Yeah, barrel is a big one too. Dies to barrel. You can't uptrade it with Conman anymore. It just
Yeah.
it went from a card that already wasn't used to a card that's even less used. Essentially.
Mods, can we ban this Haunted Pumpkin?
True. Apple Saucer, exact same thing. I think it's still going to be used because I think it's still a strong sort of card, but at the same time, it's just so much worse now.
It brings it down a tier, because it does hurt
Mhm.
the card by a significant amount.
Exactly. Venus Flytrap, useless card to us. It's like now I would say it's useless. It went from useless to shit. Like.
Don't go budget bias.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it went from useless to shit. Like, technically, you can put this in a deck. Before, it was like, you just never put this in a deck. Now it's like, you could put this in a deck, and it's shit completely. And I think that's what the ultimate change is.
So
Because
now you're gonna think it's S tier on budget.
I literally just called it shit and useless. Or I just literally just called it like shit. I just don't think it's like.
But when we like.
I think
mention
you
it,
could.
Like, oh, but it's so cool. the best card ever.
Well, because originally it was just like I think a lot of the basics are better, but maybe you can slot this in for Weenie Beanie now.
Yeah.
Or like Bellflower. Moving on.
He thinks his S tier.
Magnifiegen Grass. 01 to 02. It doesn't
No, it
die to a lot. Yeah, honestly.
It still dies to Bungie. Moving on.
Uh, Elderberry
is
240.
really interesting.
I am in the minority with this one. I think it genuinely didn't deserve a nerf. The card was.
I think it killed it.
I don't think it kills it. I think it dies really easily now to a lot of things. It was, I don't know, it was always like competing with Astrocado. Now Astrocado just is better. Like a lot of people I know are saying like, oh yeah, it's a deserved nerf and everything. It really wasn't. The card was always like the card was good, but it didn't really need it. It still died to like a lot of the things you needed to die to. And you have to remember you are sacrificing a card to do this. Like, and if you're sacrificing your little buddies, they can't be used for cob cannons or anything like that. Like, Elder nerf also was just really good way to counter Grave Boy and like Cowboy in general. It was just like with this now, it just feels such a meh card, and just overall just kind of harms a lot of budget. It harms the card in max because like there's no real reason to use it now. I don't know. It's still gonna be used. I think it's still gonna be fine, but I don't think a nerf was really that necessary. I don't know. What do you think?
Nice.
Thank you. Moving on. Cob Cannon.
Doesn't fix the problem, so it's just whatever.
Oh, why did it turn to 2/5? I think, yeah, exactly. It just doesn't. It. Hold on. The Cob Cannon is still gonna be strong. Like, I think the nerf is well justified, but at the same time, hold on. There's Cobb.
Before we move on, hold on.
Where are you?
I'm fixing this real quick.
You're fixing it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Cobb Cannon. Uh, all right. So Elderberry does still counter Grave Boy, but at the same time, it now even trades instead of up trades. Not Grave Boy. Always up traded. Well, they always even traded Grave Boy, but Dry Cowboy is the main thing. Dry Cowboy no longer does.
There you go. So, I just sent you more information.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Scroll down.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Scroll down.
So wait, is that all? That's all the zombie ones, right?
Yeah.
That we have information. Okay. That's Alright then, let's keep going. We're moving on to Cat Lady.
Hold on. Let me add. Hold on. Let me add the. Cause I don't have.
No, it's the same ones.
Oh, it keeps going. I didn't realize it was keep going. Anyway, cat. All right, so let's go in the zombies. Finally, we're reaching zombie territory. With Cat Lady as a 05. This does change quite a bit about the card. This is a direct buff to the best deck in the entire game.
Biased.
It buffs OTK Cat, but more specifically, it buffs an already broken deck known as Pet Mop, and I've displayed it on my channel before, and I think everyone knows it's banned in every tournament because how strong it is. Pet Mop is just kind of the strongest thing ever, you know.
That's what they all say.
What do you think about the Cat Lady?
It's fine.
I think 0.5. Oh, because now it doesn't
It's
die
on
to
the,
2
it's on
drops.
the better end of buffs, we'll say.
It
But it's still just cool.
Yeah, now you can play on turn 1, and then you can go into turn 2. Even if they front it with like a 2 attack, it's still like gonna trade them, unless it's a Gaka. But
Can we skip the next one?
you don't understand how vital this is as a nerf. Don't you know how oppressive Dry Swimmer was? Dry Swimmer was so oppressive that like it like really like changed. Okay, Zookeeper 2/2 to a 1/3. So yeah,
It's well
dude.
used in budget.
I don't even I can see like Flag Swarm smash with pet decks.
Also, leftover buff. We can go ahead and discuss that since for some reason it's not here.
Oh, it's not okay. Um, we can discuss
One
that.
cost, really fucking good in budget.
One, yeah, and budget's really good. I think genuinely, one cost leftovers is even gonna be good on maxed. It's like kind of insane at one cost. Especially if you just have a nice board developed. One cost, just leftovers pop, and then your board is just so much better. Really could just make it's a better. It can be a better like healthy treat in a way, but at the same time, healthy treat does have really nice like benefits with its buff.
Can we skip the one after Zookeeper?
This is the 4/3 4/3 to 4/4 kangaroo, pretty strong. I think it's like the best card in the game now, probably. Because really needed that. Now it doesn't die to Berry
Yeah,
Blast.
I
Um,
agree.
absolutely busted. Cheese Shover. It doesn't do anything.
It's now the best card in the game too.
Yeah, exactly. Cheese Shover didn't really need any like stat changes. The problem with it is just the wrong phase, and that's always gonna be this problem. You could buff its stats like a little bit more, and it still would be like the same.
Now we're going to Brainy, which is gonna be one of the more interesting stat changes to a lot of the cards.
I think Electrician. This literally does nothing.
Mid.
You use the reason you use Electrician is because of the bonus stack, and if it was a 3/2, I'd be different, but it's not a 3/2, so yeah, moving on. Gentleman, this is giant. This change is giant. Gentleman Zombie was already a card that, well, if
Existed.
well, yeah, it was a card that existed, but if you left it to its own devices, it would get a ton of value. Now it
Now
is,
it's guaranteed.
it's almost guaranteed value, pretty much. Even trades Apricot, which is huge. Maybe that's the reason why they nerfed Apricot, just so Gentleman doesn't get countered by it.
Giving some love to Gentleman.
I think Gentleman is, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like genuinely, well, it's brain
And it
new.
doesn't die to Berry Blast.
Doesn't die to Berry Blast, which is big. It doesn't die to like a lot of the small removals, and it's a gravestone to keep in mind. So it's not even dying to a lot of the hard removals.
The next one I'm excited for though.
2/4 Trick or Treater.
That I am personally a Trick or Treater stan. I think Trick or Treater is a good or usable card. And now with it being a 2/4, it is better. It is much better now. And I think now you can be able to get more of the treat value off.
Definitely Trick or Treater it had the keys to getting to this point where it's like a really good card, but it's always been held back by like certain little things. I think 2/4 could be enough because the problem with Trick or Treater is you play on 3. If it lives, you're just gonna it's just gonna get Berry Blasted the next turn, by most like Kabloom heroes. And there's like a bunch of ways you can answer it too. I think it being a 2/4, it's 2/4, it's like 4 health on turn 3, especially or like 3 house cards are bulky. Like that's a bulky card. Especially with a like a, with like ooh, I'm struggling to talk here, but especially just like
Guess what?
chicken butt.
No.
Moving on to Zomblob doesn't it makes
What the fuck?
Zomblob was already a good card, and I don't know why it needed it. This is not even really a buff. Like,
It's just a what the fuck moment.
it makes it better to play dry, but at the same time, 3 cost 2/5. I'm not trying to play that dry. Um, it's better to get from interdimensional zombie, I guess. um, but
Who uses that?
yeah, I don't know. I think Zomblob right now is perfectly fine, and 2/5 might be a bit much. Um,
2-5 was just unnecessary.
hold on, Portal Technician. All right. Um,
I'm gonna go AFK for a sec.
okay. Well, while you're AFK, I guess I'll be talking about these changes by myself. So Portal Technician, Portal Technician, Portal Technician. I heard a rumor about it. Basically, it's gonna be giving +2/+2 also. That might be in the outdated doc though. I'm not too sure. Um, but it could be giving +2/+2 to the zombie it drops, which could be good. Worst case scenario is egg. I think it turns into a 2/3, but usually this card is gonna be dropping 3/3s, 4/4s, and some cases like maybe if it drops like a Garg or something, it's gonna be like a 9/8 or something, or like a 9 attack minion, which
Mid.
Portal Technician's like still not gonna be good. I think it needs like a health, it decrease its health a bit to buff it, um, and then like maybe raise attack. But I think it's more interesting now. That I don't know. Those changes could not even be going through, and it just could be getting a +1 attack. If it's just getting +1 attack, it's the same. It's the exact same basically. But it does kill in 4 hits instead of 5, which is kind of interesting. Gadget nerf? Oh, not gadget buff? Dude.
Makes it better when you get BMR'd.
Uh, yeah,
Besides that, mid.
I think it's like gadget's really good now. Like it already was like a pretty good card, but I think the fact that it's gonna be trading stuff like Astrocado, Elderberry, it's gonna be doing a lot more at 3 attack, especially if you're buffing it with especially if you're buffing it with if you're buffing it with like Area 22. It does so much more for Immorticia, especially because like that's the 5/5 that's hitting you instead of 4/5, and 5/5 is much different. 5 attack is much different from 4 attack. In the terms of quality in this game, I think it's really good now.
Mid.
You're just saying that. Oh yeah, this is the most unnecessary buff I've ever seen. And it's so drastic too. Like it was, so the card was already like it was already like decently statted comparatively. It was
really it was a strong aggressive threat, and with it being an 8/8 now, it's basically just borderline unstoppable.
so, like yeah, like originally Mechasaur was originally Mechasaur is you play it, if it lives you win the game. Um but now it's like an actual win, like it actually can kill. OTK Mechasaur has been a dream for a while now, and it being an 8/8 means on area it's a 10/10, and so it's gonna be 2-shot. OTK Mechasaur is real. Uh, and basically it goes from an I win button on I usually win button to a I usually just win always button. Because like before it was like you could maybe do something about the Mechasaur and its summon, but now it's just such a giant stat card.
They're not gonna give it untrickable for the love of God.
One giant thing I don't think people also see is Cob Cannon no longer is like, especially with the Cob Cannon nerf, it no longer uptrades it, Mechasaur. So even if you wanted to do like Cob Cannon to front the Mechasaur and then like destroy the other thing it summoned or like something else, it no longer does it because it's just out of stats, and Cob Cannon also got nerfed, which is big. So now you can't deal with something. You're gonna have to do Cob Cannon the Mechasaur itself.
Moving on to the next one. It's unnecessary.
I think yeah, Grobber already was like, I think Grobber was really, it was already like a solid card, and it really didn't need to be touched.
It was actually like a balanced like card that was used but wasn't too broken, and because like Grobber wasn't the problem when it came to early game crazy control. It was Con Man.
I think Conman
but
is a bit
but
better. Yeah.
the thing is though is that Con Man. I guess if we're vouching right, Con Man. If it gets nerfed, then it just becomes unplayable. Depending on how they nerf it.
Conman, yeah, Conman, depending on the nerf, is just like the way they nerf it. It would be, it can be like almost unplayable. The problem, the thing that keeps Conman in check as of now is the fact that card draw is like kind of shit in this in for plants. And so as of now, Conman is a pretty balanced card. I think it's strong, but I don't think it's overbearing. I don't think it's overly powerful. Um, Definitely is a strong card though.
I'm just talking about when it comes to the crazy duo, which is Grobber Con Man. You know,
Hmm.
most of the time when you're running crazy, you run these two together, and I call them the turn one duo. Um, I didn't really think Grave Robber is the problem though, and the thing is that it's just now gonna be like kind of bad.
I
Like
think, yeah.
I think it still gets some play in Infinity, you know, because like you know Infinity has those gravestones. It could still be like and it's still bullseye, so it still can be used. It's just the 2-1. It's weird because it was like unnecessary and it dies easier. But what do
Mhm.
you think?
I think, um, I think it overall
Also
got a
dies
lot
to
worse.
lava.
It's some a giant interaction as it dies to barrel now, which is giant. This means that this is a nerf to a lot of different types of crazy packages. Grave Robber as a whole is no longer going to be able to be a part of the crazy package because of the fact that it dies to barrel. The cards that die to barrel just don't get at like Disco Knot, um, and like any other one health card usually just suffer so badly from getting killed by barrel, um, which is the annoying part. I think I think it overall it's not the worst ish. I don't think it's the worst thing, but definitely on max gameplay at least, it's gonna be absolute nightmare to play with, or crazy at least. Definitely nerfs Trick Stash though. All right, next up, Abracadaver. Um, Recently,
Interesting.
Abracadaver is gonna be used more. 3/3 definitely makes this card good. I think as a 3/2 it was a bit frail, but as a 3/3 now it's just definitely just a really nice card. Um, it
It
trades.
still dies to Kabloom, which is a problem, but it's still gonna be a better card overall when it comes to the interactions.
Hmm. I think it just trades. Yeah, it trades just really well. It doesn't die to one drops anymore. Um, Besides like Pumpkin, which is big, for a card. Um, and it just got so much better,
Hmm.
honestly.
Uh, God Throwing Imp is a really interesting rework actually.
It's
Um,
busted. It's busted.
it's it's yeah.
It.
I wanted to make it to where it's gonna make Splash better, and that makes how I am.
Mhm.
That makes me happy
It
because Splash is awesome.
the problem is how much this buffs Professor Brainstorm. As a fork, this card already was if there's a team up on like I heard this said so many times. If there is a team up on the board like a Shroom for two or like a Velociraptor Hunters and you play Garg throwing Garg, you win the game. Usually you just win the game. This card was already pretty strong as a 5 cost card. Uh, now it's now with Professor Brainstorm, it's just so busted. It's just genuinely one of the best cards in the game now, which is funny. On other heroes, it's gonna be not. It's on other heroes, it's gonna be more balanced. But the fact that it is, Just the fact that it's like can be teleported in is the nasty part, and really makes plants have to not play team ups.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on, Flamenco literally does nothing. The card,
Nothing.
the card on play already, like the card when you play it is doing its thing, and you don't really care about the stats afterwards. Um, so Flamenco being a one health doesn't do anything. Discotron, strong.
Pretty interesting.
I think
Yeah.
you wouldn't use it still, and I don't think the health, like the +1/+1 is going to do literally anything. But I think it's better in the right direction. I don't know. Main body definitely was more frail. This definitely does something more. It's still just not very good. Unfortunately. Oh yeah, leftovers is here by the way. So
It's just at the bottom.
yeah. Coliseum to 2 cost is
Amazing.
I think it's insane for budget. Like really insane for budget. And I think Rustbolt is really gonna like it at 2 cost. Rustbolt will love it at 2 cost. Um I don't know other heroes though. I think Viral might still be the go-to.
I still think it's a really good, solid solo investing. Uh, because now here's the thing. While Swarm is a good option, I think it's going to be really a decent option when it comes to swarming your board, because then you can also have, along with the other minions that are going to be, being set up on the field, you can also invest into one, but not too much invest, and make it basically to where Colosseum can make anything a big threat, especially with that frenzy. Giving something frenzy along with a stat buff is huge.
Mhm.
That's why that's what makes viral so good, is that not really the stat buff but the frenzy, making it a good finisher. This will be a good cheap finisher now, and I think it's gonna be. I think compared to how some people think, I think it's gonna be way more used in Max now, and it's gonna be really really solid option.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I agree. I think that on. Oops. I just realized the stuff I have to delete still. There we go. I just realized I had a bunch of shit down here. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. Yeah. So I think almost the exact same. I think Coliseum is definitely a lot better now. But that's really all I can say. Bonus track Buckethead.
Who cares?
I think it's better. It's a lot better now. Um, I just don't see it still being used.
It's never gonna be used.
It could still. I don't know. As a 4/4, it's a lot better for its stats though. Landscaper,
Who cares?
Zombie King, cool. I think it's pretty cool. Like
It didn't
3/6.
need it. I would say.
It
I
did
mean,
it did.
now
It kind of did.
it kind of didn't though.
It wasn't like a good strong card. It died really easily. Um, I think the health that dies easily. Um, yeah, but the main problem does come down to the other stuff need to be living, and usually you can just clear out everything else to kill King off. But yeah,
Next up is Bow Cruiser, and also just cool, I guess.
it's cool. Doesn't really do much. Ducky Tube as a 1/2 is actually pretty good. I think
It's pretty
it's
interesting. I still think the chipping is gonna be a problem. The block meter. That's kind of what made it a it was slow, which this does help the slow part, but the pinging part is still going to be a main. It's still a main factor that continues to be a problem when it comes to Ducky 2. But I think it's going to see maybe see a little bit more play, but who knows? Especially, I think it will, just because the main fact is that it's a sneaky card, and sneaky's early game is really not the best. Hi there, Lego Fridge. Welcome to the chat. Um, but yeah, overall, I think it's gonna be more interesting now that Sneaky's gonna have another early game card that's gonna be really helpful.
Hmm. I think yeah, going to a 2-3 is so just good. I think originally going from a 1-1 to a 2-2 doesn't really do much. It can be easily removed the next turn. 2-3 is definitely a much more threatening stat line for a card to have. Now it needs to be Berry Blasted. All right, Pogo doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
Pogo is already like it's like a pretty decent card. Now it's just like okay, it's just like pretty much the exact same. Firefighter.
Unnecessary.
Yeah,
or
well,
sorry, not unnecessary. No one cared.
no one cares. It's cooler, I guess. Five attack is much more threatening than 4, but not really. It's not really enough to make this card usable. High Diver as a 3-2,
I think it's gonna
pretty.
be better, especially because especially with cards like Marine Bean being better. I think it's gonna help win some trades against Marine Bean, and along with some other amphibious minions that are gonna be played.
Mm-hmm.
Now the team up is gonna be still an option or still a problem, but I think as long as you deal with Marine Bean, which might be the main threat, I think it's going to be pretty solid. Also, 4-3 on turn 3, that's pretty good for the zombies.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Um. But yeah, I think it's gonna be much more like much better. Because before 3-4 was not a threatening stat line at all. 4-3 is much more threatening, but I don't know. Could be more useful, but who knows. Zombot Stomp to 6 cost is interesting.
It's still not going to be used that much, even in budget. It's never going to be used in budget, but even in maxed, I still don't think it's going to see
But
play.
but hear me out.
It makes it better.
2 cost zombology teacher. Turn 3 you do not zombology, you do gargologist. Then turn 4 you can play Zombot Stomp.
So real.
Tomb Raiser big. This is kind of
Big.
big. This is big.
Huge.
It does lose to Elderberry and it does lose to a lot of 5 attack cards which are prevalent at its cost, but the thing is that attack buff is huge. 7 damage on specifically area. And I am saying like 5 and everything. This is assuming area because Tomb Raiser is really best on Tomb Raiser is really best on Brain Freeze because of Area 22. Other heroes, I think it's still a big buff. I think it's a bit of a nerf on Brain Freeze specifically, but on other heroes, it definitely is a big buff. Now it will pretty much always trade anything it's trying to trade it.
And it would be a guaranteed gravestone if it does break through.
It's
Too.
very threatening as of now, which is
Yeah.
the big thing.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, this isn't all the changes, and I know we're missing some. I know 3-3 Navy Bean. I don't think we covered that. Um, which is 3-3 Navy Bean to a
Gonna be fine.
4 cost 4-4. Well, 4 cost 4-4 team up on planets that buffs other things. I think it's really strong, but I think it's only gonna be strong at Citron.
And we will what we will try to do is this is gonna be a 2-part session. We are going to try to get more information, and then we will set up a stream hopefully by next week. But in the meantime, thank you guys for coming. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream, and I had fun, didn't you?
I had a blast.
All right.
That's everything. See y'all later.